Okay. I was having some trouble connecting. And that might be because of the smell. But I think I'm back. Alright. Alright, so I am a tea lover. Right here, this is my cardamom tea. So it's actually just Tetley tea. Tetley British blend. But like any of the good black teas would work. There's So I like regular Tetley, the one in the blue box, and Tetley British blend, which is the one in the purple box. Then I also like Twinings English breakfast, and I like Berry's Gold. So and like PG tips and stuff, but that's like fancy. But any black tea will do. So what I made for myself over Christmas or like around New Year's is cardamom syrup, and I just add that to whatever black tea I like. So like you could get a chai tea bag, and I have chai tea bags. I'm not living under a rock, but um, I have like chai tea bags that have like some French vanilla in it. Sometimes I get chai tea bags that are like extra spicy, but there's a lot of different spices in chai, and you don't get to like regulate what spices you get. So if you make your own syrup, then you do. So I like that. And then when you can just make like a you can just steep the spices in like water, but then it when you put the sugar in, it kind of preserves it a little bit. And I like my tea to be sweet and creamy anyway, so it works out. So what I do is, especially if I need a little bit of cardamom for like a baked good, if I'm making cookies or something like that, then I will just break up the pods, and then I'll grind up the seeds as much as I can, and then I'll put it through a sieve. The stuff that comes out of the sieve, I can put in the baked goods. The stuff that stays in the sieve, I steep it. So like I just put it in a pot of boiling water, or I get one of those loose leaf tea bags and I put it in there, and then I use my tea kettle, and then I pour the water on top of it that way. And then let it sit for like ever, because cardamom, in my opinion, it doesn't get like any sort of like bitterness even if you leave it in all day. So I get the so I leave it in for a while, and then it gets cold, and then I heat it, and then like I take the tea bag out, I heat it up again, and then I add in the sugar. Just 1 to 1 by volume. Uh, you do the volume of water, and then you do the same volume of sugar, and then that makes a nice syrup. You can do like a 2 to 1 with double the amount of sugar, and that makes like a really like thick syrup. But I prefer the thinner, easier to work with syrup, because you can more easily regulate how much you put into your tea. You can put it in coffee also if you're a coffee drinker, and I definitely recommend it. Or like even you can put it on ice cream, or you can put it just in milk if you just want the cardamom flavor. Or you can use it for baklava if you want to make a cardamom baklava. Um, yeah. So my friend was like, "Why don't you talk about how you made that cardamom syrup?" So I did that, and she also sent me this birthday card. So I thought I could show that off. It is a quilling card. I have heard of this kind of art, so I don't know how well you can see, but everything that's raised, so that would be the stick, the flowers, and the birdhouse here. It's a birdhouse, right? Oh no, it's a mailbox. A mailbox that looks like a birdhouse. So, so that, oh, it's like meta. Because it's like, this is the mail that you're getting, and I'm sending you a mailbox with mail in it. So anyway, the mailbox and like the little flowers down here, it is this kind of art is called quilling. So you take these really long skinny pieces of paper and you make a spiral out of it, and then from that spiral you shape it into different shapes. And then the background is like this really nice like watercolor print. I like it. Uh, One of the paper crafts that I've not gotten into, I think I've tried it, I maybe tried it once, but I try a lot of different paper crafts. I obviously really like paper crafts. Um, but yeah, this one is not one that is something that, I don't know if it just doesn't appeal to me as an artist or if it's like my brain just doesn't work because it's a little bit 3D and I don't know, that kind of thing is a little weird for me. But anyway, that was a really nice surprise. I didn't know she was sending me that. Um, yeah, I like a lot of different kinds of tea. Black tea is my fave. Black tea with sweetened and with milk. Oat milk is what I use usually now, but I was brought up on just regular cow's milk, and that's my fave. But I've been really liking green tea a lot more lately, and I still add milk to it. Um, One of my favorites is this. It's from, oh, I don't know. I don't know the brand. I can't think of the brand off of the top of my head, but I do know it. But I don't know if it's Bigelow. But one of the tea brands has a matcha with turmeric, and that is really good. But it's not that great if you just eat it, have it straight. It's good with milk. I like that a lot, and you don't have to put any sweetener in it. And I thought I would talk about the books that I'm reading. So I'm not reading all of these books like right now. I mean, I kind of am. So I'll start with the books that I'm not really reading right now. So this one I finished. I listened to the audiobook because I tried reading it like just regular, and I was like, I don't want to do this. So I looked to see if my library had the audiobook too. So I went ahead and got that, and then I listened to it on like 1.75 speed. When I started reading it, I was like, why did I even get this book? Because it does not go with my um my like silent mission of like never getting books from the library that are written by white men. Is this guy white? I couldn't tell, and I think that might have been a reason why I was like, this guy's okay. Then he also writes for the New Yorker, which I'm like, what? And then anything that says New York Times best-selling author, I'm like, what? Because I am against the New York Times. They, um, I don't think they award people, like, I don't think their best-selling authors mean anything. I think a lot of the times it's because the people are already famous in another capacity, and like that has nothing, like, how are you going to find a good author that way if your best-selling author is also like a movie star or a ballerina or a prince or something like that? Like, how are you going to find your good authors that way? So I think there could be something else, like best-selling, like, who cares? How that has nothing to do with it, with anything. And like, I'm not saying those books are bad. Like, those books might be fine. They might be great, and they usually have I can't think of the word. Other authors. What are they called? My brain's saying shadow authors, but that's not right. um, ghostwriters. They often have ghostwriters, and so the books are often very good. Or sometimes people who are famous in other capacities are very good writers, but like when you just base it on like how well a book is selling, then it really doesn't give you a lot of information. So I don't know. So I don't know why I was like, I'm gonna get this book. I really like Mastery. So this is called On the Mystery of Mastery. I think I found it by like looking up some books that I had read about like cartooning um, and maybe writing. So I think maybe that's why it was recommended to me from my library website. So yeah, but it was all right. You got to hear a little bit about him learning how to bake and how to drive and how to draw and how to do magic. So I didn't mind those parts. It was kind of memoir-ish. But I honestly I don't really know what the like point of the book was. Like I can't tell you the thesis of this book. But I did finish it with the help of audiobooks. And that's something that's relatively new to me. I've listened to a couple of audiobooks, like I got the free Audible when that was more popular. I think I listened to some like autobiographies or something. I don't know, I can't remember right now. But I because I had that book, I was like, this is not bad. Like I can paint and listen to a book, and I don't need to be like uh, I can do something with my hands basically. So I liked it. So it got me thinking like what kinds of books are kinds of books that I would like to read or listen to. Like what books do I like to read? Um, like actually looking at the words. Which ones do I like to listen to the words? Which ones do I like to like look at um, every single day? And which ones I like to read like big chunks of, and which ones I read like all in one sitting. And that made me think like that's how other media is too. So like music, there are songs that you can listen to the same song over and over. You can listen to it every single day. Sometimes you only want to listen to the full album of certain albums, but then more so with content that I watch. So like TV, movies, when you're binge watching TV is very different from watching a movie or watching TV where you have an episode every single week and you mull it over throughout the week. And it's very different from like movies where you just sit, you get the whole story, and it all comes all at once. You get the story from beginning to end, and then like over the weeks or months after it, you digest it bit by bit, or sometimes you just don't think about it at all. And then there's some that you can watch every single day, like Jeopardy or the news, and you watch it every single day, and you just get a little tiny bit. Especially the news, you get like a little bit of a story like every single day, and like I do read books differently like that. So just something that I've been thinking about. So I was thinking like what would be good ones to consume as an audiobook as opposed to a book that I just want to read, like either my bathroom books or the books that I read in bed or like on the couch, which are my main places where I read. Um, and I haven't really decided because I don't really know what audiobooks have to offer really. I know my sisters used to listen to Harry Potter and stuff, and I think that's nice with the voices and all that. Oh, and one time on a road trip, my friends and I listened to Bridget Jones's Diary, I think. That was good. I think I would do that again. Um, but yeah, so the audiobook that I got out of the library is like after I finished this, I want to die, but I want to eat uh, tteokpokki. I don't know how to say it. It's a Korean dish, originally in Korean and translated. But yeah, I really like listening to that. Oh, I thought of another book that I listened to audio. Well, The Life Changing Magic of Tidying Up. Is that the name of that book? The Marie Kondo book. I really loved listening to that book. So yeah, maybe some more like books that are in Asian language and are translated. I might like to listen to. Um, but some of those are so good, like the way that the words fall on the pages is really nice to see. So I don't know. I'll try it out. But I also am thinking like some of my nonfiction books that I read might be better as audiobooks. Like a lot of the books about writing and about creativity and about like psychology. So one book that I'm reading now, which I haven't gotten the audiobook, but I'm debating, Eating in the Light of the Moon. So let's see. I am just on chapter 7, chapter 5 of this book. But I really like it so far. So the subtitle of the book is How Women Can Transform Their Relationships with Food Through Myths, Metaphors, and Storytelling. So there's a lot of stories and like what's the word? Like lore from different cultures that are put into this, and then related back to like how women in America in the 90s, it was written in the 90s, relate to body image and food, and like how it relates to like just your place in the world and your place in your household and whatnot, and how um, it's almost impossible to not have some sort of disordered eating, just how we are treated as women. But yeah, it's really interesting, especially because it was written in the 90s, and that is you can see how much things have changed, but also how much things are like exactly the same, and how completely relevant this book still is. I think I'll do a full review of this book when I'm finished with it, because I need to look it over a little bit more. Um, but so far, I'm like I said, I'm only on page 35, and I'm already like, oh, I've gotten so much out of it. So yeah, so I'm thinking about getting this as an audiobook, but also I'm thinking about maybe actually purchasing this book and having it so I can take some notes. The main book, so the book that I haven't started yet is Sophie Goes Lonely Hearts Club by Roselle Lim. My mom calls her Roselle, so sometimes I call her Roselle. I actually chatted with her on Instagram like a few years ago. We chatted about writing and um, journaling as a writer, and that was really fun. Um, like bullet journals that you keep just for your writing. So that was fun to talk to her about that. She is half Filipino, and I am half Filipino. Um, so her books have a lot of things that I am familiar with, but even more so that my mom is familiar with. So I've been sharing the books with her too. She just finished reading this book, and so that's why I haven't started reading it yet, but this is next on my list. So this is Roselle's third book, I read her first two. Natalie Tan's Book of Luck and Fortune. I think that came out like 2019 ish. And then Vanessa Yu's Magical Paris Tea Shop. That came out after like maybe 2020, 2021 ish. And like I read those both right away. And then this one came out not that long after it. Let me see. 2022. So uh, I've been wanting to get it, but it wasn't at my library. And eventually I was like, I just had to get it from a different library. So I got one of those interlibrary loans. But I haven't started this one, but I'm pretty excited. I Her books don't fall into my usual young adult, but writing is the writing is a little bit more um, sophisticated, I guess. But the stories are so good, and I usually don't read that many uh, adult books for adults, but um, I just wanted to, and yeah, I don't know why I shy away. I guess because there's just so many young adult books. I'm never gonna finish my TBR, so um, sometimes it'll sneak in from another part of the library. Uh, I'm almost done with this book. Happily Ever After is about a writer who is struggling with um, imposter syndrome because she's going to a new school where everyone's kind of elite and creative, and she feels like she made it by accident. She made it in by accident, which is so common. Well, you don't make it into school by accident usually, and unless you have like a lot of money, and they like want to make sure that they get your money. But she does not have a lot of money, so that is really interesting. You don't get into schools by accident. They make sure. And so her dealing with that, and then dealing with some other things like leaving her friend who is also Filipino, which was a nice surprise. I did not get this book knowing that there's going to be a Filipino representation in it. Um, I got it more for the writing, but that was really exciting for me. So I got this book, and uh, so she's dealing with that and dealing with what it's like to not be in her friend's presence anymore, what it's like to not want to hear about your friend's stories when you feel left behind, and then dealing with meeting new people, dealing um, with her family, with her older brother that she often has to take care of, and um, how her parents treat her in like her place in the family, and how they feel like they have a right to tell her like what is acceptable and what's not acceptable, basically. So yeah, really into it. I just finished chapter 30, so if you happen to come here and you are reading this book, like I am so mad at her right now, but it also, because the writing is so much in her brain, and we can see like what she's really going through, and like what reactions she is um what she is reacting to, the reactions that she sees in the eyes of her parents and stuff. That's very real. I would have loved if it was explored a little bit more deeply, and a little bit more seriously, so that it could have been um, like even a better punch, because sometimes the choices that she's making are not like so obvious, or I would think it would not be obvious to every reader who might not relate to what it's like to have somebody like look a certain way and then you have to react. Um, but yeah, I'm enjoying it. I'm almost done, so excited about that. And then the last book I'm reading is a graphic novel. So this book I like, or graphic novels I usually like to read in bed, and they go pretty fast, and I like to read it. Um, Sometimes I like to read them like all at once, like a movie. But this one I stopped after the first chapter and I haven't gotten back to it. So the Lunar New Year love story. So it's a really good. Her name is Valentina, so it's a really good book to read in between Lunar New Year and Valentine's Day. So I might get back to it and finish it up. So far, what I've gotten is this was a girl who really believed in romance and love, and then something happened, and then she really did not believe in romance and love anymore. And I think the rest of the book is going to be her climbing back out and believing in love again, which is important. I really like that. So those are the books that I'm reading now. I haven't gotten back to the library because last time I was going to go to the library, it had snowed that day, and I was like, I don't feel like walking on the sidewalks because they're probably going to be slippery, so I just skipped it. But yeah, I am excited to get back to the library and get some more books, even though I'm not done with these. I can't be the only one who does that. But I have not done any I don't have any updates on my painting that I've been doing, but I have these stencils that I'm still working on. I got, whoops, I got a bunch of the cassette tapes in the right orientation printed out for me. So I'm going to continue making these stencils today. And then hopefully I'll get back to painting. I got another, because I got Chinese food, I have another palette that I can use. This one's filled with a bunch of crazy colors. I need ones that are kind of lighter and more specific. So I'm glad I have that. I also made this little flip book yesterday just out of some paper bags, grocery bags, and I think I will make a short about this. I've been trying to do more shorts lately, some easy shorts. So I think that's all I have for today. Thank you so much for watching, and leave me a comment if you're watching these later, and because that is really encouraging to me. I think I might actually be getting a little bit more traction on YouTube. I don't know if that's because of the shorts that I'm doing or if it's because of the lives that I'm doing. But if you are watching this, please leave me a comment. It'll mean so much to me. Like the video if you can, and I will see you tomorrow, I think. Bye!